Hi, I'm Tameika Devines. I'm a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur, and a city councilwoman.
Hello, I'm Jamie Devines, a husband, a father, and a community champion. I've been married to my wife, Tameika, for over 15 years.
Join us as we interview some of our favorite couples, hear their stories, and be inspired.
The secret to our successful marriage is that we are very intentional about our date nights. Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Tameika.
And we are the Devines.
And welcome to Date Night with the Devines. Date Night with the Devines is our opportunity to introduce you guys to couples who inspire us. People ask us all the time, Tameika, Jamie, how do you do everything that you do? And how do you keep the love alive? But we wanted to introduce you to couples that inspire us. People who we admire and respect, and that their love continues to inspire ours. So today, we are so excited to introduce to you guys our friends, Paul and Wendy Brawley.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. I'm looking forward to it.
And today, we're here with Paul and Wendy Brawley. Paul is the county auditor for Richland County. And we have with us a House member representative for Senate. I'm sorry, for House seat.
Speaking in it,
number 70 for the state of South Carolina and House of Representatives. We welcome you guys here today. And again, thank you so much for coming and being with us today. And thank you so much for what you do in our community. Both of you being public servants. And so we will start off just talking a little bit about each of you and just how you guys met. So either one can go first. So how did you meet?
You want the fake story or the good story?
The real story.
The
real story.
He has the fake story.
You got the fake news?
He got the fake news. You know, how I fell all over him.
That's true.
Well, y'all been there for 38 years. So
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So share with us the real story about how Paul swept Wendy off her feet.
Boom. Well, we met when we were students at Carolina, USC. And I think, if I recall correctly, I was on my way to a math class. And he was riding on Green Street at the time. Green Street wasn't blocked off, so you could actually go down Green Street. I'm telling my age, and go to your classes. And he was driving and just wasn't paying attention. Some little young fancy caught his eye. And the rest is history.
I happen to be a sophomore. You know, you're always trolling for the freshmen.
Oh,
That's
God.
right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think they used to call it fresh meat.
Fresh meat. That's right.
What?
Fresh meat. That's right.
Yeah, but I saw this attractive young lady walking down the street and almost wrecked my car, actually. And, and hurried up and fed to meet her and got out and wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to meet her.
True story.
How'd you introduce yourself?
Well, you know, I just came up and, you know, I'm from Hopkins, so, you know, we're not very bashful.
That's right. That's right.
Just ran right to her and told her who I was, you know. And as a matter of fact, I was going to calculus, so, you know, that was a class that I didn't like anyway.
A good reason to miss.
But, you know, Wendy's always timeless, so she kind of made the conversation brief.
Good.
Rest is history.
And you guys have been married 38 years.
38 years.
And you have 2 adult children.
Grown and gone.
There we go. There we go.
So that is wonderful. And then, as Jamie said before, you know, for our audience who doesn't know you, you both are elected officials.
Yes.
Now, before you were in the House of Representatives, you were on Richland One School Board and served as chairwoman in the past. And now you are in the House of Representatives serving the citizens of the state of South Carolina. And Paul, you're auditor for Richland County, which is a county-wide elected seat. So we know it as a dual elected family. Running for office and serving is a huge commitment for your entire family. It's not just the person who's an elected official, but it's the entire family. And so, of course, when you got both of those, it becomes a lot sometimes. So how did you guys have that conversation about entering into public service? And then did you guys set any ground rules regarding, you know, your time or your family time when y'all got elected?
Yeah, you know, interestingly, at least with family, Wendy and I had the initial conversation, you know, about either of us running and the aspects of it. and how it would impact our marriage, our home life, and our free time. And after we got past that conversation and felt that it was something that we could fit into our schedules and into our environment, the next thing to do was naturally talk to our children, who were young adults at the time that both ran, because I think my daughter was, 16, I think, and my son was about 25.
Okay.
You know, so we had a 9-year spread between our children. So we had a young adult and then actually a student still in high school. You know, it was very important for them to understand exactly what we were going to do and then give them an opportunity to chime in before we made a decision one way or the other.
Yeah.
So just remind us who was elected first and who started out first.
Well, I was elected first, right?
Yeah.
But he started out first.
Okay. Okay.
I have to tell you this story.
Okay.
When we were dating in college, he was always political. He comes from a political family.
Okay.
And, you know, I was, you know, into politics in the stratosphere, but not in the common level.
Right.
And he said he was taking me on a date. So
Okay.
I was excited.
Right.
And I thought, you know, I think who was in town? Was it the Parliament or somebody? Some group was in town. It was wonderful. And I thought we were heading to the Colonial. Carolina Coliseum at the time, but he took me to a stump meeting. He took me to a stump meeting. And I was like, who is this weird? But he was really serious about, you know, his interest in politics and what politics could do for our community if you look at it the right way. And honestly, you know, while he had run for office before, I was actually the first one he helped get elected.
Wow.
And that was to the school board. And then he ran countywide again.
So you got elected in 2004, and then Paul, you got elected in
2006.
2006. Okay, so 2 years apart.
And actually, I ran for the House of Representatives, the same seat that Wendy now holds.
Isn't that amazing?
When I was 26
Wow.
and 28, I ran 2 years in a row. Then I ran for sheriff in 1988 originally.
Yeah.
And won the primary.
Yeah.
Just couldn't win the general
This was
election.
general.
Yeah.
Okay. Goddamn.
So it kind of runs in his DNA. but I think he's right in that, you know, public service is a way to help massive amounts of people. And if you do a good job, you can really see progress in your communities and the people you serve.
So, Paul, was that stump meeting date, was that a test to see if she really liked, you know, because seriously, you gotta know if people have your same interests, and clearly politics was an interest of yours. So was that a test?
Well, it was somewhat of a test, but yeah, she passed the flag.
It's not too well, but I see it barely.
And the other part of the story we must tell, of course, Wendy ended up being a page in the Senate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what else?
And, you know, we were having the conversation one evening, you know, we were talking about voter registration, you know, because I was doing voter registration drives and different things. Come to find out, she was not registered to vote.
I was only 17 when I came to college. He didn't tell me that part. I came early. So I was only 17.
So, you know, I had to make it plain. I said, you know, the senator that you're paging for, because Wendy's from Rock Hill,
Right.
this senator that you're paging for, if he finds out that you're not a registered voter, how long do you think you're going to continue to do that?
We rushed to York County.
You got registered.
I got registered. At 18, I was just turning 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all had several years of being public servants. So how do you kind of balance your public life and your personal life? And of course, having a public life, there's so many demands, especially upon you, Wendy, being in the House of Representatives. I know you probably have community meetings, churches, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So how do y'all balance that? Make sure that y'all are carving out the right amount of time for just you.
Well, for me, you know, he has to kind of slow me down at times to say, look, Wendy, you cannot do all of these things. You'll kill us. You will kill us if you do that. And I'm glad for that, because that balance is important, because at the end of the day, you know, our relationship is what matters the most. So we try to make time, you know, for our relationship. And what it means is that sometimes we have to say we can't do certain things in order to make sure that we're taking care of home. And, you know, now that our children are grown, that's a lot easier. But you do have to do it in order to be effective, because otherwise, you lose. You're constantly worrying about what you didn't do at home, and we've just kind of supported each other that way to understand that there'll be demands on our time. So you will often see me with him. He's doing a speaking engagement. I'm passing out the flyers, and vice versa, because we understand how it's got to work in order for us to be successful.
Yeah, you have to do. You have to contribute various ways, I would say. Washing clothes.
Here we go.
And I'm not saying that in a chauvinistic way.
Sure.
But really, you have to pitch in in ways that you may not think that this is what marriage is about, or what you should do to be assisting your mate and making sure that the fire is still where it should be. But also making the time. And the two of us, every chance we get, we normally do lunch together, because a lot of times we aren't able to do dinner together because we're out doing different things. But if we can carve out the time during the day, we'll enjoy lunch and kind of talk about things, and see where she is and she'll see where I am, and then we'll compare notes.
Yeah, that's right. Usually I'm always giving me a phone. What do I do about this? I got this.
That's right. Awesome.
But that's so important, because I think a lot of people think of a date being evening, nighttime, and we talk about that. But a lot of times, especially with young kids, lunch dates are really good for us because you don't have to worry about the babysitter, all that other stuff. So that's great. I love the lunch dates.
We always do lunch. He says I make it too business because I'm constantly talking about something. But it is a time for us to be together and share. So and it's convenient lunch.
So really about the business, that kind of leads me to another question. So, prior to being elected officials, you guys work together. You have a business together, which I think is so cool, because we talk a lot about building a legacy for our children, and y'all truly have done that. But how was that, being business partners as well as spouses? And do you have any advice to folks who are considering going into business with their spouse?
Well, Paul was doing technology when he first left state government, and I was doing events, and we together formed the publication, Tomorrow Woman magazine. But I can remember, and I was using dial-up in the office, and he was like, "This is not going to work for me." This was like 18 years ago.
Right.
So, we've had to make concessions. It means, for me, it has meant this project with the publication has been a real joy, because we started it together, and it allows us to really figure out what it is we want to do. And it's kind of interesting that our public service life is very much attuned to some of the things that we promote in the publication, which is good health, a good education, entrepreneurial opportunities, giving back. All those things are connected to the way we serve. So it worked out fine, but there are days when you want to kill each other. But you just pray over it and keep going.
So since we talked about publication, let's make sure our viewers know. So it's Tomorrow Woman magazine.
Yes.
And I remember when you started, it seems like forever ago. So this is 18 years.
Be 19 this month.
19
starting our
years.
19th year.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
And so tell us about Amara Woman magazine, and really just Amara, because you've gone beyond the publication.
Yeah.
So tell us about Amara Woman, and then how do you still, because although Paul's elected position is more of a full-time, yours isn't, so I know you still work in the business a whole lot, but I know that because he's your partner and spouse, he still works with it. So how does that transition a little bit to where y'all are now?
Well, it keeps us quite busy in terms of being able to run the business and also run our lives and keep up with each other. The interesting thing is, to me, about business, is you want to always go in business with people that you trust. And Wendy is my best friend. So, it made it very easy for us to kind of do business together. Because if you click, we're just fortunate and blessed. That we are best friends, so it makes the publication kind of secondary to what we actually do, because it kind of comes out of what we're all about. which kind of makes it kind of interesting to us, because as we talk about different things, different issues that we would like to do in the magazine. Sometimes we're right like that. We're right on the wrong time. Then there are other times that, wait a minute, where you going?
Right. That's true.
But, over the years, I have to honestly say, when we started the publication, it was really because we had gone for a little weekend getaway. And at the time, there was a lot of negative press being given to the HBCUs. You can recall about 19 years ago. And we were like, it's just so negative. We need to tell our own stories. We need to be able to let people know that there are good stories in our community, in our state. And I said, somebody needs to do something about that. And he said, well, why don't you do something about it? And honestly, you heard the thing about on the napkin, but we just started sketching out the publication that weekend. And from that, we pulled together an advisory committee, and in less than 6 months, we were launching at the State Museum and had our first edition already printed for the launch. So it has been a blessing, really, to see that there was a need for this. There was a hunger for people to see that there are people in your own community. You don't see movie stars on our covers. You see people who live in South Carolina, who have contributed to South Carolina. And I think that makes us different. And that's why God only knows how, but 18 years now, 19 years later, we're still here. I really believe that it's because of that.
So is your background, either one of your backgrounds, in journalism?
Oh, no.
So this was truly birthed out of a passion.
Yeah.
Like I said, that weekend, y'all went away and you talked about.
He was a business major, and I was a business major, and got our master's in business. So I don't write. The only thing I write in here is the publisher's letter, and I cannot write that into every single article that's in.
Right.
But we have some excellent writers who are experts in those particular disciplines, and this gives them the creative freedom to write about something that they really enjoy, so you can see it in their work. So, as I said, we've been really blessed with that.
That's good. Awesome.
So you've got the publication, but again, it is grown because you have an empowerment tour.
We just finished that this past fall. That was our 17th year. We started that a year after the magazine. And we do the television show, usually 6 to 8 months out of the year. We haven't started our 2019 season yet, but we hope to do that next month. And it's been a good thing. Everything we do has been tied back to that initial goal to empower people by letting them see that no matter where you start, you can finish at a different place. Your starting place doesn't determine how your end will look like. And there'll be people to actually help you. And I think we have definitely benefited from that. I cannot explain to you how we are still here, other than the fact that people have helped us keep this in the public, keep it in the view of people who care about these kind of stories.
That's good.
I strongly remember when we first started out, a gentleman from one of the tobacco companies came in and had a serious conversation. Started a business, you're looking for revenue in different places, but we made the conscious decision, not that we are all that great, but we made the conscious decision that there were certain types of advertisement and products that we would not put in our publications because you can't talk about health and you can't talk about financial well-being and you can't talk about all of the things good and have something that's detriment to your community while you're putting it in. And of course, a gentleman told me, he said, well, you won't survive 6 months because what we're bringing to the table, you all are going to have a nice publication that's on the first issue, and we need to be in there. And we're not gonna get you in there. So you won't find alcohol, you won't find tobacco products. Not saying that because I'll take a drink, I'll tell you. but the fact of the matter is that we won't want to encourage those kind of things. And when you pick up our publication, a 6-year-old, 7-year-old can go through the publication and won't find anything offensive.
Right. Good. That's awesome.
He turned down a year's worth of advertising. I said, what?
That's right.
19 years later.
19 years later. Yeah. So you have values, you have convictions, which tells me that again, and you have staying power, 38 years married, 19 years of Amara. So my wife is.
So I was going to say, so why don't we go ahead and finish our appetizers and let our sponsors, so you're talking about people who support you, the people who support you, let our sponsors, a message from our sponsors, and we will be back in a few minutes. But we are pleased to be here. Our host, our baby sponsor for today is the amazing Capital City Club here in downtown Columbia. It's on the 25th floor of the tallest building in the downtown, currently tallest building, and they are here for special events. They're here for lunch, dinner, and it is an amazing venue. So we want you to hear from that sponsor as well as our other sponsors. We want to thank Dr. Macy Smith for being a sponsor, State Farm Isaac Insurance Agency, Jabber and Isaac, Style by Nada, John T. Elliott Professional Hair Design, and Visions Made Plain. So we will see you guys in just a few minutes.
Councilwoman Tameika Devines, first African-American woman elected to the Columbia City Council.
Committed. She is very committed to the improvement of our community.
Bold in that she's willing to talk about difficult issues.
Not only is she a leader in her community, she's a leader in her sorority. She's an excellent example of what leadership is.
I'd go anywhere, anytime to do anything for Tameika Isaac Devines.
We have whatever you need. Video, branding, photography, social media, turning vision into reality.
Welcome back to Date Night with the Devines, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Kelvin. Thank you so much for our wonderful lunch, and thank you for to our viewers for watching. So before we went to break, Jamie had a question, and I had to interrupt him. So go ahead, darling. I apologize.
You're fine. Listen, so just want to ask them. You've been married for 38 years. You've been successful with your business for over 19 years this month, and just want to ask you just about your legacy. To me, legacy doesn't mean death. Legacy means to live, to continue on. And so I just want to ask about the family legacy. How do you see the business going? Where do you see the business going? Who's going to take over maybe? And just kind of forward thinking, where do you see your legacy going with this magazine?
Well, it's kind of weird though because, and I understand the goal of trying to pass something down to the next generation. We're kind of free range as we raised our kids and tried to encourage them to seek whatever it was in their own set of talents and skills that they wanted to be a part of. Both of them have been very helpful to the publication. My son still produces our TV show. Kanita writes whenever she is told, write an article. But, they have their own interests. And if they choose to pursue this, we will be delighted because they have the talent skill, I think, to do it. But it's not something that we Kanita just finished chiropractic school.
Okay.
PJ wants to fly planes. so who knows what they'll ultimately end up doing, but what we've always tried to tell them is whatever they decide, we're going to be there for them. We're going to be there. Hopefully we'll be able to do more than our parents were able to do for us because we're supposed to be able to do more. But we've kind of given them the latitude to kind of see what life has to offer to them.
But I think at the same time, just as we arrived at this point that we started tomorrow, even though our interests were different at the time, maybe our kids will eventually evolve back around to tomorrow. I mean, they like the publication and they enjoy what it does, but they have other interests at this time. But I think eventually they'll come back, because I think it's a good publication. It's a good avenue for anyone.
One thing I could say though, they love public service. Now that I can see them doing, maybe not as an elected official, but getting involved in the community. That they both love it. And if I were to choose which one I want to be a part of our legacy, I would much rather that be the focus for them, because that makes them better people. And from that, you can grow any kind of business. If you care about people, you'll do well no matter what you decide.
I remember when our son was in high school, and as parents, you always dinosaurs, right? But he had a number of his friends over, girls and young guys, and they were interested to just talk about politics and the current situation of things that we would always be talking to him about. And he was like, oh, they don't want to hear that. And they were very interested in that aspect about everything that was going on. As time evolved, he became so interested, particularly as Wendy ran for school board the first time, just getting engaged and involved to understand the process. Because you can talk about things as much as you like, but when you actually see the process of how his sausage is made, right? But actually, when you get into the political realm of everything that you have to do to try to run a successful campaign, I mean, his interest was
just went up.
Yeah.
That's good.
So what do you think? What do you think they're actually learning? My parents were entrepreneurs, but I deal with so many people who their parents were not entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs that never exposed them to the business. And so I always think it's just so powerful for young people to kind of see their parents being entrepreneurs, or either just working in their passion, being public servants, or whatever your passion is. So what do you think you're teaching them regarding, being an entrepreneur or running a business, or even just following your passion and doing what you love?
I think for both of the kids, because both of them have been a part of the publication since we started it, just seeing, I know Anita would watch me stick the key in the door and open the door, and it's dark and we're coming in and the business opens when we get there. I think she was always kind of amazed that, well, where's everybody at? And I was like, well, no, we own the business, we do this, we have to do whatever it takes to make a business work. My son, when we would meet with politicians at the time when I was not elected, even his dad wasn't elected, and we'd be talking to elected officials about what it was that we do, he was just amazed that I could do that. We could do that and then come back to the office and we're vacuuming. We're taking the trash out in the office. I mean, and I think what we taught them is that you have to be willing to do the grunt work.
That's right.
In order to be successful. You can't just look at the glamorous part of owning a business and think that, it's all glamour and glitz. You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and work. And I think they both have good, strong work ethics. And I think a lot of that has come from watching us struggle with the businesses and surviving as long as we have.
We have a 16-year-old granddaughter as well. And, so I think that's part of the legacy in terms of her watching the same things go on, and how her parents, her dad and mom and her aunt, have kind of looked at how we've done the magazine, but how they're also doing their own separate things.
Right.
So I think she gets a blend of kind of both worlds. Yeah.
That multiple streams of income also, which is
Yeah.
what we, I think, are doing a better job at teaching our young people. But you don't have to have just one job or one stream of income. Being entrepreneurs and owning a business, you got to build a business, but once you get it to a certain point, you can do other things as well.
That's true.
That's an important lesson for them to learn, I think, at any age, but certainly as they're growing up, it's important.
You got your last question, darling?
Well,
This is a doozy then, huh?
I won't say the last one. Just continue the conversation about marriage and just give us some life lessons or some examples, some things or issues that you all face as a couple growing up, if you will, through marriage to where you are now, and then finally, what would you share with a younger couple, or even a more seasoned couple that may run into some issues or problems? How did you resolve those marital issues that came up, or family issues that may have come up between the two of you all? And then again, 38 years, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a great tribute to what you guys have done. So give us a little bit about the Brawley effect. If you will.
No, I like that.
Okay.
Brawley
What the
effect.
Brawley effect is for 38 years. 38 years.
Yeah, right. You know, actually, I imagine most folks when they get together, it's the physical attraction.
Right.
You know, maybe initially because you see somebody that attracts you. But you know, the thing about Wendy is their intellect and her charm. You know, the fact that you know, once I started having conversations with her, you know, I said, you know, this is somebody that I could really get along with, and we could be good friends. As I mentioned earlier, I think friendship is an important component of a long-lasting marriage. And the fact that I think we both were church-oriented. She was a Catholic at first. Of course, I'm an AME. You know, which we had to commingle our religions, but
So now I'm an age.
I'm a Baptist.
That's right.
But you know, it's putting it together, and you know, as just about any young couple, you know, you got the financial strains of a marriage initially that you have to get past because you know you're not in the financial position that you are. Hopefully, as you age a little bit, you know, so you got to go through those things, and raising kids is always a challenge. I tell anyone because. You know, you have the more strict parent, and I imagine I may have been, and then you have, you know, the parent that's not quite as strict that the kids can go to. But you know, you have to come together on that so that there's no dissension, because the children have to understand that you know when one parent says it, that's it.
That's it.
But you know, it's an evolving thing, and even as we have now become empty nesters, it's interesting because now we're able to go back to some of the things that we were able to do in college. You know, some of the things that we didn't have an opportunity to do because we had children. You know, had to do certain things, but now it's great.
Good answer. and you know, Paul and I have always been able to laugh and see each other, I think, in our most vulnerable times and not feel as though you're going to hear that thrown up at you. You know, a lot of couples fail because they never can really forget their worst moment. And we try to make sure that that's not the case with us, because when you weigh it, we've had so many good moments that even when we're in the worst of situations, our worst arguments, they don't outweigh all of the good moments, and we have to remind ourselves of that. And for me and him, I just think really important is that we support each other's dreams. You know, we just support each other's dreams, and I think a lot of couples can't do that because they feel that it would interfere with their own dream. And what we've learned to do is to support each other and not feel threatened by one's success. And that is critically important, I think, to couples, particularly black couples now, as we can have more than we used to could. We can dream bigger than we used to could. And so now I think I used to think that we were ahead of our time because he was doing all this stuff, taking me to, you know, stump meetings. But you know, see how life comes around. Here I am, and I didn't think of this until he said it. Holding office in the seat that he ran for twice.
Wow.
As a 6 and a 28-year-old.
Wow.
And I didn't think about that, you know. So life has a way, if you're listening and you can support one another, of giving you exactly what you want if you work together.
So tell us a little bit. So again, if you had some words to impart to, say, a younger couple, going forward, anything in particular?
Well, I say trust God. You know, trust God. He will guide you in the right way. He will guide you to the right person. and he will give you the strength to survive the toughest of times. And then trust your mate. You have to trust each other, and it doesn't hurt to like them too. I like it.
That's very important. Very important. Very important.
And how about you, Paul?
No, I think Wendy's point is right on point in terms of trusting God, because if you keep God out front, I think the times when you have those arguments, and they're going to come, you know, you have a base in which to kind of go back to. And, you know, when the financial situations aren't what they ought to be, you know, you still have that base. And, you know, when your kids aren't exactly what where you think they ought to be doing and cutting up sometimes, you still have that base. And I think all of that is extremely important. And, again, I think keeping the fire lit, you have to make time for each other. You know, and we as I've said, we're both busy. But we do try to make time constantly to try to catch up with each other, because, you know, things can get out of kilter so quick. You know, because if you don't make that time for each other, you know, you'll end up somebody's doing something different, and then when you get together, you're like, man, how in the world did we get off so far? You know, but we've been very fortunate, and I say we kind of kindred spirits sometimes, because sometimes I can take Wendy out for lunch, and you know, we'll decide where we're going to lunch, and that's exactly what I had on my mind. You know, and I'm like, wait a minute, we've been kind of hanging together too long.
It's been together so long. You complete each other's time.
Yeah, but I think it's, you know, the most important thing is to yoke yourself with someone not that's just pleasing to the eye, but also pleasing to the spirit.
Right. So in years to come. So what I'm hearing you say is God first, mate second, family. Everybody else is
Everything
third.
else falls into place. It really does.
That's good.
I mean, he keeps the plan real for you if you pay attention.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful way to end this episode. Thank you guys again so
We
much.
enjoyed it.
Thank
It
you.
was fun.
Yeah.
And great
Thank
food.
you all for the meal. Yeah.
We're glad you enjoyed it.
Anytime I don't have to cook.
Yeah, when is the next date night with the Devines?
Exactly. No, but we've always wanted to sit down with you guys, and this just, you know, made an opportunity. But kind of what you were talking about with your passion, the reason we wanted to do date night is because we do feel like there are so many positive examples. I mean, people look to the Obamas, our forever first family. We love them too, but you know, we've got real life examples of good, strong marriages here in our community. So we wanted to highlight that. So we thank you for being candid and transparent and giving some great advice. And thank you guys for listening and joining us again for Date Night with Devines. So I'm Tameika.
And I'm trying to eat, which is Jamie.
And he's Jamie. And we are the Devines. And thank you so much again for tuning in for Date Night with Devines. We want to see you again next month, third Monday each month at 9:00 p.m. So until next time, thank you.